snowy map, and it was. I mean, it was.
Oh,
meant,
I remember
that. Team battle. It was meant for big team battle, and we were
only four of us on there. It's like takes us an hour to walk across the map.
Yeah, and it's like, stop screen looking. Yeah, I remember all that. And then I'm not screen looking, man. I promise. Yeah,
we were all screen looking, dude. We were all looking. It's like I just saw you.
Before I die, I just want to confess I was screen looking.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video. So I am super excited to bring you this content today because it's been a piece of content that I've been wanting to make for a while. I've got a new format where I'm going to be bringing you interviews every so often. I'm not sure how often I'm going to do this, but I wanted to bring somebody on here who has a wealth of gaming knowledge. He's also a PC nut, so he's got tons of insights on various PC things, if you want to say it that way. I'll let him talk about himself. But anyways, I've known this guy for 25 years. He's an up-and-coming creator here on YouTube. He talks about PC hardware and tech. He's achieved over 4.5 million views here on YouTube. He's on the cusp of 20,000 subscribers. He's built a healthy community of like-minded PC people, and they're just all passionate about PC. Again, I've known him for 25 years. We grew up down the street from each other. We played video games our whole lives, basketball. We ran scooters into sewers and all a matter of other things. We had a crazy upbringing. And more importantly than anything, he is a husband and a father. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Mr. ErockonTech himself.
Hello.
Some of you guys may have seen him if you're subscribed to his channel and whatnot, but yeah. I got through it first. I got through it the second time. So anyway,
man, I appreciate the intro. I did not expect you to say all that, so that was actually very kind. I didn't even know that about my channel. 4.5 million views. I didn't know that actually.
Yep.
Last I checked it was under 3. So yeah.
Right. I wish I had some more information. I was going to spit a bunch of stuff out, but I mean, we've known each other forever. So I mean, well, this stuff will come up during the conversation.
Yeah.
Sure. But anyway, man, I just want to appreciate you coming on. Again, this is a new format for me. I've never done an interview before, so this will be fun for me. And I'm pretty sure you've never been interviewed or talked about. But anyways, for the people at home, exactly. For the people at home, basically how this is going to work is this is not about me. This is about Erock. I will input some things here every so often, but this is all about Erock, so you guys can get to know him better and learn about not only PC stuff, but gaming stuff, because this is a gaming focused channel, obviously. So with that being said, I just want to jump right into it because we got a lot to discuss here and we're going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. All right, so the first question is up on the screen, but I want to kind of give some disclaimers. So what separates you from other YouTubes, Erock? And the reason why we want to bring this question up first is because this has been something that has been on your mind specifically, because the main thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to make this interview about you. So I came up with some questions that I thought would work best in this format. But at the same time, I wanted you to give me some questions you wanted to answer. And this is one of the first questions you wanted to answer. So I wanted to hear your point and just see what you have to say about this, because, again, it's been something you've been on your mind. So I'm going to let you take it away. Go ahead.
Well, hey, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here. First of all, thank you so much. And like I said, I was not expecting that intro, and so I was surprised by some of that. So thank you, very professional. And I appreciate you allowing me to address this question specifically. I almost made a video about this subject. I actually ran a poll on my channel a few weeks back, and I asked everybody, hey, do you think there's too many tech YouTubers? And most people voted yes, but then I got a lot of comments that suggested, no, there's not enough. There are too many tech YouTubers who aren't really trying. And I don't know, like, you have to read the comments, but that's basically the vibe I got. But overall, the reason why I want to bring this up is because it was brought to my attention that, somebody looked at my channel and they essentially said, hey, that's cool and all, but he's essentially doing the same thing as this YouTuber and this YouTuber and this YouTuber, and the list goes on and on. So why would I watch ErockonTech versus somebody else? And for some reason, I could not shake that, because early on, whenever I was starting out being a creator, that was on my mind all the time. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it differently, et cetera?
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
This is definitely a question that I've settled within myself. And I thought that the answer to that was already present on my channel. Apparently, it's not, at least not for new people. So let me address it. Um, what separates me from other tech YouTubers specifically is, number one, I would like to say polish. Obviously, somebody like Linus Tech Tips clearly has polish. He has everything. He has 100 people
Mhm.
plus working for him, 8K cameras. Clearly, he has polish. But we're not talking about him because that's the end all be all in terms of success on YouTube. Um, but when you talk about other significantly smaller creators, there's guys that are, you know, 5, 10 times my size, and my polish is past them. It's
Right.
past what they've offered. And I'm not going to name any names or anything like that because I don't want to take away. But there's people who will get in front of a camera and hey guys, today we're gonna excuse me, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. What we're doing? Oh yeah, today we're gonna talk about this new GPU, and they just leave all those mistakes in there. They don't cut that out. They don't even try to edit. They're a one take, as Asmongold would say, a one take Andy, if you will.
Right.
And they just hit record. Whatever comes out their mouth, that's what you get. If they cough, if they burp, if they sneeze, you get that.
Mhm.
And a lot of people say, "Oh, I like the raw feel," and it feels more natural. Me, I like the polish. Another good example is Gamers Nexus. Gamers Nexus is probably the poster boy, if you will, for tech YouTube.
Mhm.
Everybody refers to him as the end all be all in terms of accuracy, reliability, etc. And I like Gamers Nexus. I think it would be great
Right.
to
Yeah,
meet
he's a great
him, hang
creator.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to meet him and all of that stuff. But when I'm looking at his channel as a new guy, and I'm like, well, I can't do exactly what he's doing. So how can I put my spin on it? What can I do
Mhm.
differently? Well, he's got polish, so I'm not going to beat him in that category. What else can I do? Oh, I know. I can try to present the same information in a much more basic way
Yeah. Of
and
course.
faster and get to the point. So my videos aren't 35 minutes long. you know, you know, and I've been complimented
You
on
got
that. I've
close
actually
one time, a couple
yeah,
times
yeah,
making
a couple of times, yeah, but it's not the average. Those are the exceptions. But anyway, I've had people come to my channel and say, "Dude, thank you so much for you know using these benchmarks instead of these
Mhm.
benchmarks, and thank you so much for making a 15-minute video instead of a 35-minute video." And that's not me trying to say I'm better. That's not what I'm answering. I'm answering how I'm different. Like that's how I'm different. I'm giving you polished tech content and as an efficient manner and as in as much of an efficient manner as I can possibly give it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And the last thing I'll say is I'm approachable. Again, you go back to Linus, you go back to Gamers Nexus, go to Jay's 2 cents, go to any of these guys. Basically any guys north of 150,000 subscribers who are putting out a video that are getting 100 plus thousand views. They're not approachable. There's more of you
Mhm.
than there are of them, right? If you drop a comment on their channel, they're probably not going to see it, and if they do see it, they're not going to respond to it.
Mhm.
And I have the luxury of doing that because I am a small creator.
Right.
Eventually, there will come a time where I won't have the luxury of doing that. But right now, if you're a Patreon member, you can sign up for $1. You
Mhm.
get access to my Discord. It's $1 per month, $12 for the whole year.
Mhm.
You get access to the Discord any given moment, you can talk to me. Any
Mhm.
given moment, you can talk to anybody else that is in the Discord as well.
Right.
You can have private one-on-one conversations with me, and I do it all the time. I have
Mhm.
calls with Patreon members all the time,
Right.
and
Yeah.
even on my last couple of videos, because they're not performing as well as I would like for them to, because the GPU season's a little bit
Right. Yeah.
slow right now. I've gone through and I've responded to every comment. So if you dropped a
Right.
comment, you got
Right.
a response.
Mhm.
And that's how I'm different. Outside of that, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Nobody does. I mean,
Mhm.
if you look at woodworking, you're going to find 5, 10 different tech creators.
Yeah.
Are you going to I'm sorry, you're going to find different creators in woodworking. Are you going to go to woodworker number 7 and say, why are you different than number
Mhm.
6? No, you're just going to be like, hey man, I
That is
appreciate you.
true.
I appreciate your woodworking, right? I mean,
Right. Right.
or car creators. Hey man, I like your Mustang, but I don't like it because the other creator
Mhm.
had it too. So, like, I don't know, man. People, it's just
Right.
not
Right.
not everything has to be different, is what I'm saying. Anyway.
No, I get it, and one of the things I think that you didn't mention there, but I think is very important, is that you're adaptable in YouTube. Like you think about where your channel started versus where it is now, and how much like adjusting you've had to do, and obviously you've had the new YouTube creator adjustments to make. That's pretty self-explanatory. But at the same
Right.
time, you've had to navigate, and this is one of the things that I struggle with dealing with on YouTube, is navigating the space of I can't be as fast at creating content as these guys. They've got
Right.
stuff coming out before they're getting stuff before I can even get my hands on it. And then by then
Right.
they've already made like 2 or 3 videos.
Yeah.
So I guess talk about that, because you've actually been getting more sponsors and things of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some of the people here on YouTube, the viewers, may not understand how that fully works. Talk about sponsors and so far
Sure.
your interactions. You don't have to give all the details, but
Sure.
in general, just talk about your experience so far.
Okay. Yeah. So, so okay. So yes, it actually doesn't take as long as you think before companies start contacting you. And you might think that's a good thing. It's actually not. My first sponsor was a Windows activation key website. If you've seen any tech YouTuber, you've probably have seen one of these at some point. And excuse me. And anyway, so I ran a couple of those, and it was nice to get a sponsor that I've seen on other creators who I would follow, get paid for it. But then after a while, I started feeling like, I don't know if this, I don't know if what this represents is up to my quality, is if it's up to my standard. And so I cut those off. I still get those offers all the time. But moving on to something bigger, I made a video called Before You Buy AM5. And that video is coming up on about a year old now. It has over 200 something thousand views. And it caught the attention of Asus. If you don't know, Asus is mega in the computer space. I mean,
Oh, they're huge.
they
Yeah.
make everything. I mean, I just got back from picking up my Asus laptop. So,
I'm
um,
jealous.
so they saw that video and they contacted me. And of course, my heart was like, boo, boo, whoa, Asus is contacting me. Like, what the crap? Like little bitty old me. So Asus contacted me and had a couple of one-on-one sessions with them. But anyway, since then, they've sent me an AIO. I did a full review on that. I actually got 2 videos on it on the channel. They also sent me a motherboard. I got a video coming up on that. And we're in talks to get a few other products that I can't really talk about right now. But yeah, I got a few other products lined up with them. And that's been a great experience from the standpoint of, wow, I'm being recognized by a big legitimate company. I'm getting some of these products. I'm not having to pay for them. So that's extra resources. I can make different types of content. I'm getting reviewer guides. I'm actually getting what Jay's 2 cents is getting with 4 million subscribers. I'm getting the same guide that he's getting to talk about the product. That's a boost of confidence if I've ever had one. But I will say on the challenging side of that is, a lot of times these companies tell you, hey man, we're going to send you this product, and then they don't send it. Or, hey man, we're going to send you this product Friday. They send you the product, but it's actually in 3 Fridays from now. So they're 3 weeks behind. Speaking of Asus, I was supposed to get a GPU from them. And I was going to get it around the embargo. And I got the reviewer's guide and everything. GPU to this day still has never shown up. So, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I mean, on one hand, having sponsors contact you and people willing to pay you and say, hey, I want to give you a product, let you keep it for free. The product is worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by itself. And on top of that, I'm going to pay you to talk about it. That's about as good as it gets. Right. But at the same time, you got to be careful taking stuff like that, because then nobody can trust your reviews. And so a lot of times you have to say, okay, you can send me the product, but you're not going to pay me, because I need to be able to speak about this in both a positive and a negative light. But yeah, you're right. Adaptability. I mean, you gotta get creative with this stuff. I'm never going to be able to give you, at least not right now, I'm never going to be able to give you a day one review on any tech product, because so far, even though I've been in talks to get a product around the embargo day, I haven't actually received one. And so the day, typically the way it works with GPUs when they release to the public, what happens is they, let's say they go live on a Wednesday, the reviews for those will come out on a Tuesday. So the company only gives you 24 hours to watch reviews and make an educated decision. Do I want to buy this product or not?
Yeah, and that's tough.
And so where I want to be is I want to be in the category of getting the GPU so early that I can review it and have it up on embargo day. So I'm one of the first people that pop up whenever, people search that product, right? But instead,
Mhm.
what's currently happening is, oh, hey, it comes up, I watch it like everybody else. Now I'm not making the decision, do I want to buy this for myself because I already have high end hardware. Instead, I'm
Mhm.
making the decision, okay, is this worth me going to Micro Center, spending my money that I'm not going to make back, and reviewing this product? And sometimes sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes the answer is no. Last thing I'll say on this, a good example is the
Mhm.
4060 came out. 4060 did not get good reviews. I
Mhm.
almost didn't go buy it, but I said, you know what? It's a GPU. Let me go buy it. I bought the 4060, reviewed it, and then I put it in a PC and I gave it away. The video on the PC giveaway to this day still isn't performing well. Nobody cares
Mhm.
about it. Nobody's watching it.
Right.
But
Right.
the review video on the 4060, I just looked it up. It has 142,000 views.
That's crazy.
And
That's crazy. That's awesome.
when that video came out, it was mediocre. It was kind of mid. It was like,
Mhm.
we
Right.
were getting a couple
Right.
of
Right.
views. It showed no signs of being a banger. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then the
Mhm.
other day, I was going through my channel. It's like, what? 142,000? What? When? And
That's a good
so,
feeling.
yeah, it's a great feeling. So anyway,
Mhm.
I don't know if I talked about what
Yeah.
you wanted me to, but
No, I mean, no, you gave some great insight there, and kind of transitioning to the next topic we're going to talk about, because this is something that you have the most expertise in, kind of talking about PC hardware, dealing with the different vendors and whatnot for these PC hardware. Is one of the things that we talk about a lot. We've actually kind of mentioned recently is, what do you think about the current state of PC hardware in gaming? And if people don't know and understand, uh, Eroc's primary source of content is about graphics cards, and he makes benchmarks on graphics cards, and he tests a wide variety of games and wants to give you the most data possible about these graphics cards. So with that being said, what do you think about the current PC hardware and how it's affecting games and vice versa right now? Because in some of the testing I've seen, it's actually pretty fascinating. So take it away.
okay, yeah, sure. Um, okay, well, first of all, I just want to say I think PC hardware as a whole is in a much better place than where it was, well, dang, 4 years ago now, right? 2020. 2020, we had the worldwide pandemic, we had the crypto mining boom, just a perfect storm of everything bad, if you will, for consumers. There was a silicon shortage that led to a GPU shortage. The GPUs that were available were, hundreds, if not even thousands of dollars over MSRP. It was a rough time to be a PC gamer. Fast forward to today in 2024. um it's not like that. If you want any GPU, any CPU at MSRP, you can go get it right now. Newegg, Amazon, Micro Center, take your pick. Wherever you want to go, you can get the product you want at MSRP or even cheaper if it's on sale or something. And you might say, well, duh, I mean, it's always like that, but it's not. I mean, people are soon to forget just a couple of years ago, we literally were fighting each other for the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. People forget about the Newegg Shuffle. You
Mm-hmm. Oh my
you
goodness!
used
Wow,
you used to
I haven't
have
thought
to.
about
I'll
that in a
never.
while.
Yeah, you used to have to sign up at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard
Mm-hmm.
Time, put your name into a shuffle just to, like, if you got picked, you had the opportunity to purchase a GPU over MSRP. It got so bad, it was no longer just, okay, fine, I'll pay $200 over MSRP. Here you go. No, they were like, no, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. You see, we don't have enough GPUs, so we're going to put you into a raffle,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be here at 11 and put your name in the hat. And then you have to sign up for it. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're lucky, your name will get picked. And if you get picked, we will now give you the opportunity to overpay for this.
What a
That
joke.
was That's how bad it got.
Mm-hmm.
People forget. And now you have tech YouTubers, getting out there, and they're making these videos, and they're whining and crying and complaining about GPU prices, and, oh man, I expected this GPU to give me more performance, and we don't really need to be praising the higher end stuff. It's too expensive. Nvidia and AMD need to focus on the lower end stuff, and there is some truth in that, but perspective matters, man. It's like, you're not going to come out of 2020, 2021, 2022, where everything's in a shortage and everything is hundreds of dollars over MSRP, and immediately go right back to 1080 Ti's for 699. I mean, it's going to take some time to get back to that. Now, with all that being said, I think the state of the PC hardware industry is better than where it was. Can improvements be made? Absolutely, 110%. So right now we're in a slow season. NVIDIA just announced the RTX 40 Super Series GPUs, and unfortunately, they weren't so super. um, Everybody expected them to be more than what they were, including myself. I mean, if you look at the 4070 Ti Super and if you
Mhm,
compare it to the 4070 Ti, I mean, it's an upgrade in every
mhm.
measurable category. The 4070 Ti Super is an upgrade when you compare it to the 4070 Ti. But yet, when you put them head to head and you look at the benchmarks, the 4070 Ti Super, even though it has a spec bump in every major category, it's only like 3-4% faster,
That's crazy.
maybe five.
Right.
The 4080 Super is another situation. You know, it's only 3% faster than the 4080 on average. But the good news with that is that it came down to $1,000. So NVIDIA lowered it from 1,200 down to 1,000. So they basically gave you the same card with a better name for $200 less. I'm sorry, the same card with a new name, not a better name. What's a better name? But they gave you the same card with a new name for $200 less. I mean, that's essentially what they did there.
Mhm.
And so it was a step in the right direction, but it's also a sign of too little too late. But overall, the 50 series is coming. There was a leak recently. I saw basically all the 50 series for the most part, except for the 5090, will definitely launch in 2025. Right now, all the rumors are pointing to the 5090 launching late Q4 of 2024. Also, all the rumors are saying it's going to be, we're currently using a DDR6X VRAM. The new rumors are saying we're moving up to DDR7 and it's possibly going to be 28
Mhm,
gigabytes instead of 24 gigabytes. They're
mhm.
also saying it's going to be 60 to 70% faster than a 4090.
Wow.
I don't I don't necessarily buy into all of that
Right.
because I mean you're 60 to 70% faster than a
Yeah.
4090.
That's
Like
nuts.
I have a 4090. The thing's a monster, dude. It chews some of these games up and spits them out.
Mhm,
So 60 to 70% faster. I have a hard time
mhm.
believing that. And
Right.
even if that's true, the card's going to be
Mhm.
$2,000 minimum.
Right,
If
right.
that's true. If
Mhm.
that's true.
That's
Now,
expensive, man.
how does this relate to games? To answer that question. So the problem we have is we have hardware available. We have it at MSRP or even less. We have the most powerful hardware we've ever had. Yet games come out and my $1,600 4090 in some games will get 70 FPS at 4K. Why is that? Well, it's because we have a games optimization issue. Um, it doesn't matter how powerful your hardware is if developers don't take advantage of the hardware. And so that's where, we're having two different industries here that need to be in sync. And unfortunately, they're not. And, NVIDIA and AMD both launched upscaling technologies, FSR, DLSS. And the idea of these technologies originally was twofold. One, to help out with ray tracing, but two, to also extend the life of the card. So you buy a card, native performance day one is great, but maybe after 2 or 3 years, it's not so great. So now instead of upgrading, you just flip on DLSS, flip on FSR. Oh, now your frame rate goes up and now you get more life out of the card. That was
Right.
kind of, I think, where everybody thought it was going to go. And honestly, that's where it should have gone. DLSS and FSR should be the icing on the cake. It should not be the cake.
Mhm,
Unfortunately, developers have utilized those technologies to be the cake. Meaning, instead of optimizing their games, they're just saying things like, oh, it's okay, you got FSR. Oh, it's okay, you got
mhm,
DLSS. And we know this because we've seen tweets from
mhm,
developers, from development studios, where they've literally said, oh, this game's going to be great because it has
mhm.
DLSS.
Right, right.
This game's gonna be great because it has FSR. This game's gonna be
Mhm,
great because it's frame generation. So that's kind of the problem with that now is that the hardware is available, the pricing is at least at MSRP. Like I said, you can definitely get hardware for cheaper. There's a lot of good deals on motherboards right now, a lot of good deals on
mhm.
CPUs. I've been looking at them all day actually because I'm thinking about going
Right,
back to
right, right,
AM5.
right.
So there's a lot of really good deals. The
Mhm,
problem is just, the games are just like, yeah, instead of utilizing the hardware, let's just flip on
mhm.
DLSS. Anyway, I don't
Right.
know if I answered that question or not.
No, no, you did great, man. So, a couple of things you mentioned there. You talked about upscaling native resolution or versus native resolution. That was kind of one of the
Yeah.
questions that was coming up next.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things that I find interesting more than anything is the fact, like you said, is that so many developers are using DLSS and FSR 3.0 or whatever it is at this point as a crutch to make games better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know this question's asked, why do you think so many developers use upscaling and over native resolution. But the primary thing I want to focus on is twofold. Is I want you to kind of go through your thoughts on when these services such as DLSS and FSR are worth it. You know what I mean? So first, like where they're actually beneficial, such as things like frame generation, for example, which personally I think is pretty cool. But again, it is a upscaling technology. And then where you think that, okay, well, clearly they focus too much on upscaling and not enough in native resolution. So I guess just kind of talk about where where it's good, and then where you feel like, okay, they really should have focused more on native resolution. Maybe even a game, for an example, that you played recently where you wish they would have done that.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, okay, well, let's see. Okay, so upscaling technologies are phenomenal in certain situations. I mean, a lot of people who don't really understand how these technologies work look at FSR, look at DLSS, and say, oh, wow, that's magic. It just works. And if you don't understand the technology behind it, I can see why you would think that. But allow me to explain the technology behind it. Essentially, what's happening is whenever you turn on DLSS or FSR, you have to pick a mode: quality, performance, ultra performance, balance, whatever. And when you pick that mode now says, okay, for example, let's say you're playing at 4K and you say DLSS quality mode. Well, what that means is that the game's going to drop down to native 1440p. And now your NVIDIA card is going to attempt to use AI technology to upscale the 1440p native rendering to your 4K display. So it's going to artificially fill in, the holes in the image to smooth it out and make it look clean. And obviously when you do that, your frame rate goes sky high, because now on a 4K display, you're getting the same FPS numbers that you would get at native 1440p. And the reason why is because you're really rendering at native 1440p, and the AI has smoothed out the image to where you can't really tell a difference when implemented properly. And so from that standpoint, it does just work, and it is magic, and they
Mm-hmm.
do a great job with that. And so again, in that particular case, it might be a situation where you're playing a game and everything maxed out, native 4K with a 4080, 4090, you might be getting 100 FPS. And you're like, you
Right.
know what? Can I get 144 though? And so you flip on DLSS, man, and next thing you know, you're up to 125, 135, and you're not quite there at 144, but you want that smoothness. So now here comes frame generation.
Mm-hmm.
Frame generation is, fake frames, as they call it. And it's where the AI looks at the previous frame that has already been rendered, the upcoming frame that's being rendered in the pipeline, and it guesstimates what the frame in between might look like. And so it kind of builds it and inserts it. And now your frame rate counter goes up, and now you're like 160, 175 FPS, if you will. And it feels smoother, but it's not native frames. And so a lot of people compare it to the old motion smoothing technology that TVs used to have. Um, whenever we would buy TVs and they wouldn't be native 120 hertz, they
Mm-hmm.
would be natively 60, but then it would say, true motion 120. It was a motion smoothing technology. That's basically what frame generation is.
Right.
Anyway, but to get back to what you were saying is I do think developers have relied on DLSS too much in places of optimization. And an example of where I think this was apparent recently was Remnant 2 we played together. Remnant 2 natively with my 4090, 4K, everything maxed out. I think it pulls under 100 FPS if I remember correctly. Natively with a 4090, everything maxed out. I think it's under 100 FPS. And so that's a situation where it's like, hey, we're running, we're gunning, we're shooting, we're doing all the things. I need to be above 100 FPS. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm going to go in there and I'm going to turn on DLSS quality, let it render at 1440p, upscale to my 4K display. Now I'm getting 125, 135 FPS,
Right.
whatever it may
Yeah.
be. It feels better. It looks fine. And they implemented it well. I'll give them credit for that. They did a
Mm-hmm.
good job at implementing it.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
have and so you're not really noticing a bunch of shimmering or stuttering or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a video on my channel when Spider-Man Remastered first came out. I reviewed it on my channel. And if you go watch that video, you'll see towards the end of it, I did a DLSS benchmark, and I slowed down the camera, and you can actually see shimmering. because the first iteration had a couple of bugs in the DLSS upscaler. And so that was a clear example of, okay, when you implement it too fast, when you don't implement it properly, now we have distortion in our image. And so that's telling me, okay, whoa, this is not, it takes you out of the experience, because now you're noticing, wait, I got flickering going on here. And they obviously patched that, they fixed it. Now you go play Spider-Man Remastered, you turn on DLSS all day long, you turn on frame generation, whatever you want. You're not gonna notice a difference. It looks phenomenal. Nixies did an incredible job.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think that answered the question.
No, I mean, no, that's great. Like I said, because I agree. That was one of the first things I said whenever I launched Spider-Man Remastered for the first time. The game just runs so well because I played it much later than you did.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I don't remember, I did use frame generation for the game, so it did run pretty smooth with that, but I did try it natively for a while, and I even tried it on the Steam Deck, and it ran pretty well. So again, I agree. Nixie's been doing a great job. And so one thing I wanted to ask is, I'm trying to figure out how to reframe my question. So if somebody was building a new PC right now, today, with all the graphics cards that you've talked about on the channel, you just talked about the 7900 GRE, right? And the 7900X, you just focused on those, doing some re-reviews and some reviews on that stuff. If somebody was building a PC right now, where would you actually want them to focus on resolution wise, meaning 1440p, 1080p? I know 4K is out of reach for a lot of people because most people don't have a 4K panel. So I'm not going to even ask that one. But where would you say that people should focus on whenever they're thinking about modern day gaming?
I think 1440p is a sweet spot. I've even with the 4090, I've had moments where I thought about downgrading my display to 1440p, just because right now with 1440p, they're having a lot of breakthrough technology. You're talking about 1440p OLED displays coming in at 360 hertz. So I think about this for a second. If you're playing a game that's a couple of years old at this point, maybe not the latest and greatest stuff, and you have a 4090, for example, you're getting an OLED technology display, and you can max out everything and hit up to 360 FPS in certain games. And if you can't hit it, natively, maybe put on the frame generation or DLSS or whatever. And that sounds like an amazing experience to me. Now, the reality, though, I mean, if you do have a 4090, you can and should go for 4K, and that's what I do. More than likely, I'll probably wait for the 4K monitor OLED stuff to come down. But to answer your question, no, I mean, I think if somebody's building a PC right now, here's my go-to recommendation. Focus on 1440p. 1080p has been around way too long. I think most people who take that Steam hardware survey and say, I'm using 1080p, it's not because you just bought the monitor. It's because you've had that monitor for 5, 6, 7 years.
So true.
I mean,
that is so true.
They're still making new 1080p displays, but I don't really see why, because every time you talk to somebody, they're talking about going to 1440p. That is the next, that's the next stage. Additionally, more and more cards are coming out for 1440p. The 7800 XT, 1440p card, 7800 GRE, 1440p card, 7900 XT, right there in the middle. It's a really high-end 1440p card and a low-end 4K card. Some games it can do 4K, 100 FPS depending on the settings, etc. But it's definitely a solid 4K 60 card, like 100%. And then 7900 XTX 4K card, 4080 4K card, 4080 Super 4K card, 4090 4K card. So and then 4070 or 4070 Super, 4070 Ti Super, 1440p cards. We got more 1440p cards now than we do 4K or 1080p. And so I think the technology that's available on the market is telling you what you should go for.
Right. No, I agree 100%.
There's more cards available for 1440p than there are for 1080 or 4K. So.
Right. No, I mean, and that was one of the things we talked about when the PlayStation 5 came out, when they were talking about, they had all that marketing, 8K or whatever, on that marketing on there. It's just all like gimmicky stuff. Exactly. So I get it, man. I agree with you 100% because, I mean, I love gaming at 4K because I have a 4080, but at the same time, I understand it's unachievable, and not all games run great at 4K for me. So
Mhm.
dumbing it down to 1440p would be a good suggestion. So I mean, yeah, I think that's actually pretty wise of you to say that, because yeah, 1080p is way out of date. I mean, it's even
Yeah.
out of date on YouTube. YouTube's trying to push 4K content at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it is what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. 4K
Um,
is the future, man.
I know it is. So I want to turn back the clock a little bit, because one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I wanted to bring you on here is, yes, I wanted to talk about your PC knowledge and your channel and stuff like that, because I think you actually make great content. I think that one of the best things about you is you know how to foster a community and build them up. But for me, I still know you as, you know, the kid that I grew up with, right? I
Yeah.
mean, the kid that had
Kid across the
kid
street.
that had braces when I did. I mean, I had an afro. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a crazy time.
The afro. I remember
Anyway,
that.
anyway, so
Uh,
a lot of people, I joke around on the channel a lot about being a late 1900s baby or whatever, you know what I mean? Or, I was born in the
late
1980s. Anyway, so we were both born in that realm.
Yeah.
So we gamed on consoles primarily in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I remember distinct memories of going over to your house and playing, Xbox with you guys, even though you guys hogged it.
You gotta let that go.
I tried to play
You gotta
Xbox
let
with
that
you
go,
guys,
man. You gotta
because
let that
you
go.
wouldn't let me play that last level on Halo. Anyway, but so I think about that stuff and think about all the memories that we had growing up. What was your favorite memory of gaming growing up? Any console, any time frame of your life. If you could even
Oh
say
man.
multiple. I mean, whatever you feel like is kind of something that sticks out in your mind. I
Favorite
know it's a loaded
favorite
question, but
Yeah,
let's see
that
what you
is a
got.
loaded question, man. Favorite gaming memory growing up. Oh man. Okay. I remember, okay, man, I do remember a lot. Wow. Okay, I remember a lot of my early gaming memories really kind of started with you because, both of our families were kind of poor, but mine was a little bit more poor. So I remember coming to your house, you would have a Nintendo 64. I didn't have one.
Right, right.
And I remember you had Tony Hawk Pro
Hmm,
Skater.
hmm,
And I remember playing that. You were so good at it because you owned it, and I sucked. But I wanted so badly
hmm,
to
hmm,
know how to do the
hmm,
900 and all of that, and so
hmm, hmm.
that was a lot of fun. And then you had a Dreamcast at one point. I remember playing House of the Dead with you,
Oh yeah,
and that
yeah,
was a
yeah,
lot of fun.
yeah. We played that
Um,
recently at the house. So yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You
absolutely,
brought
yeah,
it up
yeah,
here. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
That was a lot of fun. Outside of that, though, no. I mean, I obviously have a lot of Halo memories with you guys. I remember it was the summer that I started, or it was like the summer before I got my first job, I think. And I had moved away, but I came back to visit. And we just spent all summer playing Halo 2 2v2 split screen. And it was,
Hmm,
you and
hmm,
Sam versus me and Eli. And we would just play and we would play.
hmm.
And I remember we would put ourselves on that oh my goodness, I can't remember the map, the big
It was that
snow map.
split. There's the one with the big hole in the middle
Well,
with the
there was
two
that one.
sides. That was that
Yeah,
one.
there was
Blood
that one, but,
Gulch.
yeah, but there was also this, like, really large snowy map, and it was
Oh,
meant
I
for
remember
big
that.
team battle. It was meant for big team battle, and we were
There's
playing
only
it together.
four of us on there. It's like takes us an hour to walk across
Yeah,
the map.
yeah, and it's like, "Stop screen looking." Yeah, I remember all that, and then I I'm not screen looking, man, I promise. Yeah,
We
and
were
then
all
outs
screen looking, dude. We were all
we
looking.
were
I
all
was like, I
screen
just saw
looking.
you.
Before I die, I just wanna confess I was screen looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll man, let's see. Outside of that, I do remember this. I remember everyone was getting Game Boy Colors and they were getting Pokemon games. And obviously, it's the 90s. Everybody wants Pokemon. And my family couldn't really afford it. So I'll never forget Russell across the street had just upgraded to a Game Boy Color. And he knew I didn't have a Game Boy. And so he said, "Hey, Eric, you can borrow my Game Boy and my Pokemon Red for a while until you can get your own." And so my first experience playing Pokemon was on an original Game Boy in black and white Pokemon Red. And my buddy Russell allowed me to borrow it. So that's a gaming memory that stands out even to this day. So
Right. One of my favorite gaming memories of us growing up, I was just thinking about this the other day, and I'm going to love saying this on camera because it's going to be on the record forever. Is I remember when we played 1v1 on basketball, and I ended up beating you.
oh man, that's a
I
game.
beat
That's a
you.
you're
I
talking about
beat
a
you.
gaming. Oh my
I beat
goodness,
you. No,
that's
but
not a
I'll never
game.
forget.
I mean, it's a
No,
game.
no, listen. I beat you. And then you know what you did? You were mad at me. So you slammed the ball, whatever, you got mad. Anyway, and then next thing you know, I go back to my house, and next thing I know is a knock on the door. My mom, I don't remember if I answered the door or my mom did, but you were standing there with your Game Boy and you were asking me for some sort of advice or something on Pokemon. I don't remember the exact thing you were doing, but I remember we started just instantly connecting over Pokemon after we just had this intense a game to 100. You know what I mean? It was so ridiculous, but I remember that was like one of my favorite things.
I mean, since we're
And
putting things on the record,
yeah,
I played around with you a little bit too long on that, and you caught ahead of
no,
me.
you
But,
didn't.
but
I beat you fair and square.
if I was trying
I
100%,
beat you fair and
I
square. No,
just
you were
went out.
trying. You got tired, man. That's the problem. Is I had too
All
much
right.
stamina for you.
All
Anyway,
right.
anyway.
Well, hey, we can always rematch.
No, I know. So you mentioned Halo in that
Yeah,
whole thought process. I mean, we loved Halo growing up. We loved the split screen. We loved,
yeah,
you know, the experience of just sitting in front of the TV and playing. And then I remember distinctly on the original Xbox, I got a uh, temporary pass to play on Xbox Live to play Halo 2. And that was all of our first experiences really kind of diving into online multiplayer.
yeah, yeah.
So the thing I wanted to talk about with this is most people don't know this about you, and I think this would be fun for your community to see, is you are actually a pretty freaking good and almost a borderline competitive Halo player at one point. You made a lot of good. No, don't sell yourself short. You ended up taking Halo way too seriously because at first I was the best one because I played online first and I got the experience. And then after that, I didn't care, and you took over and you became the better player because you absolutely obsessed over Halo 3. Anyways, where I want to go with that is Halo and traditional multiplayer has kind of taken a step back over the years. And
Yeah.
overall, the thing I want to focus on is I want you to talk about some of your fondest memories of playing Halo 3, Halo 4,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
I want you to talk about, because Halo is one of your biggest passions, where Halo went wrong and
mhm.
what are some of the issues with traditional multiplayer
Yeah,
games these days based on your
sure.
opinion and what you've seen?
Sure, absolutely. Great question. And okay, well, first of all, my first experience with Xbox Live was, I think, watching you do it, and I had no idea what it meant because by that time I was living with my grandparents. They literally were grandparents. I mean, they lived in the Stone Age. They didn't have internet. They didn't have anything, and so my first exposure to that stuff was coming back to visit you guys, and you're online, and that I was still young and immature at that point. So if I didn't understand it, I didn't like it. And that's stupid. Let's go back to 2v2 split screen. But
You
really,
haven't
once I
changed. I'm
yes, I
joking.
I was
This is
good.
dumb, man. Just joking. Go on, go on.
No, but no, but seriously though, that was my first exposure to it. And then I bought a 360 for anticipation of Halo 3, and I was excited to get my get my first experience, my experience online. And ultimately, I let Sam borrow my 360. He dang near had it for like 6 months, and then they
Mhm.
got the red ring of death. You don't hear from him, and then it's like, "Hey, your Xbox broke. It's got this red light on it." I'm like, "Oh, great." And then I was like, "Give me my Xbox back." And anyway, anyway, but no, yeah, I fell in love with Halo 3 because I was already competitive. I worked at CVB's Pizzas where I met my wife, and Halo was the thing. A lot of people don't understand this. People look at esports today and they have their favorite teams and all that. People don't realize that started with Halo. Halo 3 was the first game to have a $100,000 prize tournament in MLG, Major League Gaming. And to the best of my knowledge, it was the first one ever because I remember watching it and everybody kept saying, "This is the first time ever. It's the first time ever." I remember watching that event. And it was a huge deal, man. And so working at Stevie B's, we used to shut down the store after closing hours, clean everything up, and then everybody would just bring their Xboxes from home, and we would do a big, Halo 3 online Xbox Live thing right there in Stevie B's until 4 in the morning. We did that multiple times. And I slowly but surely started beating all my coworkers. And then finally, I was beating everybody in my way. And then that's when I got introduced to the world of MLG and competitive. And I very quickly got my butt handed to me because I was well above average or normal, but I was far below pro. And as you know, I met John, and we started playing together a lot. And I mean, a lot. It was like a second job. That's like all I did was Halo. But yeah, one of my favorite memories with that was just, I mean, oh man, just there's so many games where you're down, you come back, you win last second. I do remember the first time I kept playing, and all of you guys, you, Eli, and Sam, stepped away from it. And y'all came over to visit me in my first apartment. And we decided to run, I think, me and John against you, Eli, and Sam. And I feel like y'all had one
Mm-hmm.
more. John and I smoked you guys. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it was like
I mean,
25 to
because we
1.
were all playing Call of Duty and World of Warcraft, man. What do you expect? We're sitting here playing mouse and keyboard, and then we go back to controller. It doesn't work.
We smoked you guys. And I remember when y'all left, like I think Eli was so pissed.
I wasn't trying, dude. I wasn't trying. If I was actually trying.
But no, that's one of my favorite memories. But I mean, answer the question, where did Halo go wrong? I mean, the answer is simple. Bungie leaving and 343 taking over.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft should have tried harder, in my opinion, to appease Bungie and to get them to stay. Okay, hey, well, stay and keep making Halo, but we'll give you enough funding to start another team within your studio that can work on your side project, Destiny or whatever. And then y'all can own the rights to that. We're going to own the rights to Halo, but we want you to operate Halo. Like, try to find a happy medium. But going with 343 was just an awful decision. I actually didn't hate 343 at first, like a lot of people did. Their first act was they took Halo Combat Evolved, they made an anniversary edition, which was really cool. And it was something that we had never really seen in gaming before. You could hit the button and flash back to the old graphics and hit the button and come back to the new graphics. And it was really cool. And then they took over Halo Reach for Bungie, and they started giving the community everything we wanted. We wanted armor lock nerfs. We got that. We had something called the TU update title no Bloom update is what it was. And basically they took out Bloom and just made the DMR a steady shot, and there was no more stupid Bloom bullcrap. So my first experience with 343 was positive. Then they came out with Halo 4. Halo 4 was a bit divisive, obviously. A lot of people said, oh, you made it too much like Call of Duty. I personally had a great time with Halo 4 because I was a monster at it. I dominated in Halo 4. I hit the XP cap in it within the first couple of days the game was out. They're like, hey, you're getting too much XP too fast. So, they locked me down. But after that, man, I mean, Halo 4 was short-lived. And then after that, you realize it didn't have any legs. Halo 5 was awful. And now you got Halo Infinite. And the problem with Halo Infinite is they're just trying to copy what Fortnite has done. And this answers the question, what happened to Halo in traditional competitive multiplayer games? Same thing for all these games. Call of Duty, Battlefield. The answer is Fortnite.
Yeah, that's
Fortnite.
true.
Fortnite came in, gave the world Battle Royale, and it was free to play. And they introduced the season pass system, and it blew up. I mean, I think they made a couple of $1 billion with a B.
It's insane.
And now, today they've evolved past being a game, and now they're an entire universe. I don't know if you know that, but they have a Forge system. You can create your own custom games. You can create your own worlds. They got all the skins from Disney and Marvel, and just
wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a TV show at some point. You know what I mean?
Probably,
some sort of movie.
They actually partnered with Eminem and had Eminem do a performance in the game. And so, like, Fortnite actually has.
I forgot about that.
Fortnite has a stage, like a stage world now, where you can go and watch artists perform. I mean, it's crazy what they're trying to do. The problem is no one in the gaming industry wants to be creative anymore. That's the problem. Everybody wants fast money. That's it. They want fast and easy money. So they sit back, they look, who had a hit? Bomb, bomb, bomb. Oh, snap. Look at them. It worked for them. If it worked for them, it must be a winning formula. Copy and paste, put our name on it. Next thing you know, Battle Royale isn't just Fortnite. Now it's everywhere. Now Battlefield introduced Battle Royale. That flopped. Call of Duty introduced Battle Royale twice. They killed the first one, and then Warzone took over. A lot of people forget they had like Blackout or something. And then there's been rumors for the longest time, Halo Battle Royale. I think they finally said that's officially not coming, but that didn't stop the fans from creating a Forge mode of it. The point is, everyone in the gaming industry wants to copy what other people are doing. And no one wants to be original anymore. So now every time you buy a game, if you're trying to play multiplayer, it's I had Battle Royale A or Battle Royale B or Battle Royale C. And that's what it was for many years. Now we're past that. Now it's extraction shooters or tactical shooters. Everything's a tactical shooter where you're leaning, like Rainbow Six Siege. That's becoming popular. And then, of course, extraction. You play a lot of Tarkov, or you used to. And, so Escape from Tarkov took off. And now everybody's like, oh, that's the next thing. We got to do extraction. And it's like, that's fine. Let battle royale exist. Let tactical exist. Let extraction exist. But we just need one or two. We don't need 5 or
Hmm.
10.
Right.
Like you don't have to copy it. Like, do your own thing. At
Yeah.
this point, we've gotten so far removed from traditional competitive games. I think it would be a breath of fresh air if a developer actually went back to Team Slayer, Team Deathmatch,
Hmm.
Domination, Capture the Flag. Those game modes still exist, but they only exist in the legacy titles that have always had them.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Like
I agree.
Halo's always had it, so Halo still has it.
Mhm.
Although Halo Infinite launched without a Team Slayer mode, people forget that
Right.
too.
Right. 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 Right.
Um, you know. So anyway, I think that's the problem. I think the answer to the question is Fortnite.
No, the Fortnite. Let's play Fortnite for everything. Fortnite and Tarkov. Let's just blame both those games for
Yep.
everything, right? No. So in that realm, kind of taking another sidestep there. So we did play a lot of Halo growing up, but we
Yeah.
also did play a lot of Call of Duty in our
Yeah.
later life.
Oh yeah.
Especially when
Yeah.
Call of
Love
Duty
love Call of
was
Duty back
not.
in the day.
Even though Call of Duty was a yearly release, it still felt like they were innovating every year. You know what I mean? Making
For
it a
for
little
a
bit
little
different.
while, yeah, it did
Yeah.
feel like that.
So on the record, I want to know this once
On
and
the
for
record.
all. On the record, once and for all, I want to know this. What are your top three Call of Duty games off the
Oh,
rip? Top
off the
three.
rip. Off the rip, I'm gonna go Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 4.
Black Ops 4. Okay, yes. I would say for me, it would be called. I would say Black Ops 2, just from the sense it was the best game, but I still had the best memories with Modern Warfare 2 because it was just fun. So Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, and then I would say I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Call of Duty Ghost. Oh man, I had so much fun with that game.
Yeah,
I know
I
it was
know.
bad, but we had such a good time with that
So,
game, and they
so for
really took a lot of good steps in there.
so for the record, I was tempted to say that as well, but I know all the negative comments we'll get about that one.
Oh, we're gonna
But
get tons, and I don't care.
but also, but the thing is, you can't just look at games and say, okay, did everybody like this game? You're the one playing it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's like, are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, everybody's playing
Hmm.
Fortnite. I freaking hate Fortnite.
Right.
But objectively, I have to take a step back and say, okay, it's a banger. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Right. I
It's
agree.
it's with Ghost. I had a blast playing it, but that's because it launched with the Xbox One, which was a new system for us. It was our first midnight release, getting a brand new console. We stood in line together, and I'm playing this game with my best friend. That's why it was good. Now, if I had stayed on the 360 and played the game by myself, I probably would have hated it just as much as everybody else. But when you ask me my top three, I'm going Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Black Ops 4. And I'll quickly explain my answer. Black Ops 2, in my opinion, I just think objectively, when you look at it, it's just the best game. Pick 10 system, Nuketown, excellent amount of
Hmm.
perks and weapons, a reason to play, phenomenal DLC maps. If you remember the paintball map Rush, just great maps, tons of community updates. The kill streaks were phenomenal. It ran well. I mean, just Black Ops 2 single handedly is one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2, it doesn't matter if it was good or bad, if you were good at it or if you sucked. That game revolutionized the first person shooter industry. It put Call of Duty and first person shooters on a whole new plateau. It took the world over. I mean, I'll never forget that was during the Halo 3 days. It was the only game that got me to stop playing Halo 3 and go try something different. Everybody, and I mean everybody, was playing Modern Warfare 2. I remember getting in the Xbox Live party chat with you and Eli or Sam, and inevitably, you would have another friend on, they would have another friend on, and I'm sitting there playing with some guys I don't even know, but we're there for a common cause, which is Modern Warfare 2. Everybody and their mom had Modern Warfare 2. Reason why I say Black Ops 4 is because Black Ops 4, if you can't tell, Treyarch is my favorite COD studio. Black Ops is my favorite COD franchise. I just love the Treyarch style. Black Ops 4 was the last Call of Duty I played on console. B, I played with a bunch of friends that we were able to get everybody on. You, me, Zach. I think Russell played with us. John, Keith played with us. I mean, we had a little bit of everybody, and so there was that. And it was also the last Call of Duty that I was able to get into before I became a father. So there was just a lot of like, this is your last time on console. This is your last time before you're a father. This is the last time playing with all these guys. So there's a lot of good memories there. But also, I just thought Black Ops 4 was a lot of fun before they came in
Hmm.
and made a bunch of unnecessary nerfs. But that's just
No,
me.
I agree. And one thing you missed in Modern Warfare 2 that, or not
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2 that was really cool, that was awesome, was that was the first Call of Duty where they allowed you to prestige, but then prestige with a weapon. Right, if I remember
Yes.
correctly.
Yes.
Yes, that was
Yes.
one of the best changes they've ever made, because in the
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2, you prestige in Black Ops, the original Black Ops, you prestige, you lost everything and started
You
over from
lost
scratch.
everything.
But at
Start over.
least with Black Ops 2, you're able to carry
Dude, I
over
want to go
a
play right
weapon.
now. Like, I want
Yeah,
to
I
go play
know.
Call of Duty.
I know. I legitimately would play Black Ops 2 right now if it was remastered or
I
something
want
like
to go
that, which
play
they
Call
need
of
to
Duty.
do. They need to do
Yeah.
a Call of Duty remasters over releasing these new games.
They need to do
All
a
right.
Call of Duty collection like they did with Halo, but do it,
Yes.
but make it good on day one.
I agree 100%. All right, so we're gonna wrap up with a few one big question and a few rapid fire questions I
Okay,
have
let's
for you.
do it.
So me and you went through the same journey. I was a little bit more, all right, let's do it, but you were more tactical with this approach, right? And where I'm getting at is that we transitioned from console to PC, correct?
Yeah.
And I remember I played PC games mainly on a laptop, but you were just getting into it. And one of the things that you wanted to do was you wanted to build your own PC because you had done it before, but it was a much, more
Yeah.
tame thing. But you wanted to actually build a real PC, right? So I guess talk about some of the thought process you went through with changing from console to PC, because I know that's always a big
Yeah.
topic in the
Yeah.
in the in
Sure.
the gaming world. Is most
Yeah.
people are like, why do I need to go PC because my console can do everything a PC can do, or
Yeah.
vice versa,
I
whatever,
love this question so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
anyway,
super passionate about this one.
yeah. So talk about your journey going through this
Yeah.
and building your first PC, and then kind of some of the things you've noticed and some of the recommendations you would give somebody who is doing this or considering this journey.
Yeah. Well, the first recommendation I would give anybody, if you're talking about, if you want to know why to switch from console to PC, or if you want to know some tips and tricks, the best thing you can do is go watch my videos. I got 3 videos I think talking about it, and I'm gonna make a 4th one this year. I'm super passionate about it, and I always try to tackle it slightly from a different angle, and I try to answer questions I didn't answer the first time I made it. And plus, those videos always perform well because it's an ever growing topic, right? People are constantly all the time looking to switch from console to PC because what's happening is that people, and to be fair, you do have some people leaving PC and going back to console as well. But to be fair, I mean, what's happening is people fall in love with their console. They love the console experience. They get it really involved into a game, and they want more. They're like, "Oh, I'm so into this, and I want more. What's the next level? Is there another level?" And they start seeking more. And then a lot of times, that's when they find out about PC. And then there's a lot of things that scare people away. But let me just get to the point. What made me switch from console to PC? Very simple. Um, One of my good friends at the time, John, switched from console to PC. He was my ride or die Halo 3 buddy. And once he switched to PC, I lost being able to play with him. And then you and I were still playing together, but we were on Xbox One. And even though the Xbox 360 was a banger of a console and it sold so many units and everybody and their mom had one, the Xbox One was the laughing joke or the laughing stock or whatever it is of the internet. I mean, like literally, if you had an Xbox One, people were making fun of you.
Oh, I remember.
I'll never forget. I'll never forget the joke. Xbox One was rumored to be called Xbox 720, and then they changed the name because it can't even do 720p. I remember those jokes, right? That wasn't true. That it could do 720p. It couldn't do 1080 hardly. And if it could do 1080, it wasn't doing it at 60.
Right.
And so this is what you have to understand is when I was on console, I never thought about resolution or frame rate. It was all about the games and then the console that I loved at the time. I want to collect achievements. I want to go achievement hunting. I want to play Call of Duty with my friends. I want to play some Fable. I want to play some Halo. I want to do some Skyrim, some Assassin's Creed. It was all about the games. And nobody really had a problem with that, it seemed, until with the Xbox 360 or PS3 or anything. Nobody really talked about that stuff. But somehow along the way, when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 came into the scene in 2013, now magically, no one's talking about the games. It's all about, well, how many frames per second can it do? Is it doing it at 1080p? And I remember thinking, like, what does all this stuff mean? And you just constantly hear it. It was in every forum that I read, every article, every YouTube video. the Xbox One was just a terrible console. And so after John left to go to the PC, and then he started mocking us, hey, how's a 30 FPS down there? And I documented all of this in my video. So if people want the full context, they can go there, I guess. But after that, and then just constantly being the butt end of all the jokes, it got tiring. Then Phil Spencer did something I never thought he would do. He announced Game Pass, and then he announced Game Pass for PC, and then he said every Xbox exclusive going forward will be available on PC day one. At that moment, I officially decided I'm done with the Xbox console and I'm going PC. And my reasoning for that was simple. Now I'm only limited by my wallet and my knowledge. If I can learn what's available, then I can figure out how to put everything together. And if I can earn enough money, I can buy any components I want. I can have the highest frame rate, I can have the highest resolution, and to top it off, I can make the PC look like whatever I want. Back there is my wife's custom Super Mario PC. I have a whole video about that on the channel. That one of a kind. There's no other PC on this planet that looks that way. That is the only PC on this entire planet that looks like that. Meanwhile, if you buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X, guess what? Hundreds of millions of other people have them too. Or, at least 50 other million people have them. The point is millions of people have these consoles and they all look the same. Little black box, little black box, little black box. There's nothing inherently unique or different about it. But with a PC, you can customize it if you want and make it look like anything you want and be an expression of yourself, make it a form of art, if you will. And then on top of that, you got the mod support. On top of that, you got games on PC that have never gone to console. There's a lot of games that are on console today that were not there at first. They started on PC as little indie games, and then maybe Xbox picked them up and said, hey, we'll publish you on console. That's happened a couple of times. I mean, it's just, there's so many reasons to go, this is why I'm able to make a video on this almost every year, is because there's so many reasons to be on PC, and the reasons just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. At the end of the day, if you say the short answer would be, why would you not be on PC? And the only answer to that is money, because it does cost more initially to build the system, but the games are cheaper and you don't have to pay to play online, but the hardware is more expensive, and that does scare a lot of people away. And then there's also the learning curve, right? Because a console is meant to be super simple. Plug and play, push a button, you're up and running. PC is a little bit more hands-on. Even if you buy a pre-built, it's not going to be plug and play, push and play, right? So
right. No, I mean, I agree with you 100%. And one of the big things that for me when going was, A, I wanted to play with you guys. But B, the other thing too was I legitimately do enjoy PC gaming, mouse and keyboard and things of that nature. That was a lot of fun. So I wanted to experience that. And then also it was funny. I remember going back to a good memory when we ended up switching to PC for the first time. One of the first games we bought was Destiny. And if you remember
Destiny 2,
how funny that was, we thought we were broken or something was broken because
I remember
we went back.
Yeah.
I had to go back and play on the Xbox, and then it felt like it was awful. Speaking of the frame rates and whatnot. It's definitely noticeable.
I called you and I said, hey man, is it just me, or is like the Xbox broken? And you're like, no, it's not. Or you called me and you're like, hey, I think my Xbox is broken. I said, no, that's 30 FPS.
I had to play some friends back on Xbox to help them out with the raid. And then it was like, I'm walking in quicksand. What's going on here? It felt terrible. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to hit you with some quick hitter topics. They're not going to pop up on the screen, so you can't actually look at this. So what is Eroc's least favorite gaming genre? Don't hold back.
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale.
Okay. Hate it.
Okay.
And RTS. I hate RTS.
RTS. Okay. Why?
Well, Battle Royale, I hate it because it's overdone. And also growing up playing Call of Duty, playing Halo, Team Deathmatch, Team Slayer, I'm used to, if you die, you're right back in there. Bang, bang, bang. Let's go. I've never been a fan of one round anything, even in Call of Duty with the one round mode. I forget what it's called, but
Search and Destroy.
Search and Destroy. I've always hated that stuff, because it's boring. I'm here to play a game. I'm not here to watch my teammates run around after I die. And so for me, I mean, to each his own. And that's the beautiful part about gaming, is that there's a little bit of something for everybody. But if you're asking me my personal taste, I don't like Battle Royale because you're one and done. You can literally, one Battle Royale match could take 35, 45 minutes. and then you don't see anybody until the very end, and then you die and lose. I mean, I've had that
Right.
happen. It's not for me, man. And then also, I just don't like RTS. I just can't get into it. I mean, you got that top down view, and it looks like a bunch of ants, and it's like, what the freak is this? And
And I love it.
I hate it.
I love it. I love it.
I hate it.
All right. So, if you had to pick one game to be remade or remastered right now, which one would you want the most? Because the remaster is a huge thing. Anyway, go ahead.
I want a Halo 3 remake.
Halo
From
3
scratch.
remake. Okay.
I want a Halo 3 remake all the way, like a full remake, like kind of like what Capcom did with Resident Evil 4. That's what I want for Halo 3.
Got it. That would actually be awesome. I would love to play the campaign of that. That'd be great.
I want the campaign, I want the multiplayer, and I want them to put in. I will say this: 343 did a good job fixing the sprint problem with Halo Infinite. What they did with sprint with Halo Infinite, I think, appeased both sides of the argument. And I want to see that in Halo 3 too. Hot take, I know.
All right, so another the curveball for you. So
Yeah.
Kaiba, that's Eroc's son. Sorry, I didn't say that. Kaiba is now 10 years old, and he's like, Dad, I want to play Fortnite, and I want you to buy me all these skins. What are you gonna say?
He's not even gonna know what Fortnite is. I'm not gonna lie to him.
How's he not gonna know? He's going to school. The kids are gonna be playing it on their cell phone. Anyway.
Well, for starters, he's 5, so I got 5 years to work on that.
Hopefully it goes away.
Yeah. I'm already trying to indoctrinate him. I'm playing Dragon Ball Z around him. I'm playing Pokemon around him, and I haven't introduced him to Halo or anything like that because the guns, and he's 5. But as he gets a little bit older, I'm gonna say,
sure, yeah.
I'm gonna say, hey, I want you to hear something, and for the first time ever, he will hear Team Slayer.
What game? What if you had, besides Halo?
Yeah.
If you had to pick one genre for him to adopt when he gets older, what would you want him to play or suggest him to play? Besides like a Halo game,
An action adventure.
Just action adventure. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, think about how many games that we've played that are amazing, like that fall into that category, right? You talked about Spider-Man Remastered earlier. You love the game, that type of stuff. I think he would, and he loves Spider-Man, by the way. I mean, we got him a Spider-Man bed, so that would be perfect. Yeah.
Right. No, that'd be great. And then one more for you. So, just putting you on the spot. I know it's gonna be a loaded question. What's your top 5 favorite games right now?
Okay. Wait, of all time?
Just it could be right in general. What's your top favorite games? Top 5 favorite games. I know it's a loaded question.
Okay. I kind of look at this more from a franchise perspective because I love Halo, right? And that's going to be like I love a little bit of all the games. I mean, if you put a gun to my head and said you could only play one, it'd probably be Halo 3. Batman.
You could do genres or
franchises.
titles. That's fine. Yeah, franchise. That's fine.
So I'm gonna put Halo. I'm gonna do Batman Arkham trilogy. I could play that and replay that and replay that and replay that. Every time I play it, I just say, wow, this is so good. What they did, I think they capture lightning in a bottle, and that's why 2 out of 3 won Game of the Year. So Arkham trilogy, Halo. I got to put Skyrim on the list when I'm talking about because Skyrim I completed all the way through twice, and one instance I got every achievement in the game. So I got to put Skyrim on the list. Last Pokemon, obviously, duh. I can't believe it took me a minute to say that. Yeah. Pokemon franchise. Pokemon franchise, more specifically Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Those are single-handedly some of the best video game remakes of all time. Hands down. If you've never played them, you're doing yourself a disservice. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, absolutely incredible. Number 5 is very interchangeable for me. Part of me wants to say, I'm thinking about this because I don't have a longing that's pulling me one way or another, but I'm thinking about this from the standpoint of what is a video game or video game franchise that has at some point in my life made me go back and play it a second or third time. And when I and also how many hours have you logged and all that. When I think about that, I think about the Call of Duty franchise, but I really hate to put that in all time because I hate Call of Duty today and I hate what it's become. I think about Assassin's Creed, but I also think about because I beat the first Assassin's Creed 2.5 times. I beat it 2 times all the way through, and then I
Right,
started
right.
it a third time. And I've completed all the other ones at least once, all the way up to I beat Black Flag, Unity, Syndicate. I think Syndicate was the last one I beat all the way through. So probably Assassin's Creed or Gears of War,
Okay.
because I've completed every Gears of War game once with you and once with my wife. Every one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Those are great games, man. They're
Yeah.
awesome games. All right. Erock, I appreciate everything.
Happy to be here,
Again,
man. Thanks for having me.
amazing creator, amazing friend. I just want to give you a couple seconds to kind of tell everybody where they can find you at, and just in general, anything else you want to kind of close out with.
Yeah, I mean, the main place you can find me if you are interested in PC tech, GPU news, PC hardware, on YouTube, ErockonTech. I'm also on Twitter. I'm not that active, but I'm on it every day. I just don't post a lot. But I am on Twitter, and I do have a Discord that is exclusive to Patreon members. For 7 days are free. You can sign up for $1. Other than that, hey, if you watch this, you're awesome. And thank you. I appreciate it. And if you ever come over to my community from one of these videos, you got to let me know, hey, I saw you on the Max Vasconcelos show. That would be awesome. All right, that's all I got.
That'll be sweet. All right, guys, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, Erock, for joining me on the this first interview. Many more to come, hopefully. But hope you guys have a good night or day or whenever you watch this, and we appreciate it. Do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you go subscribe to ErockonTech and show them some love. But
Thank you.
That's it for us. We'll see you next time. Peace. Erock out.
Erock out.